Okay, I'm going to show you now how to draw the Spring Lake logo that has the SL, and it has the red in the inside, the white outline, and then the black outline around that. So it's a little bit more detailed than the other SL that we did. So we're going to get started in the same way. We're going to draw a line that goes across like this, sort of in the upper middle half, and then 2 lines down. And then I'm going to draw a little line in on each side. And then a longer line down from each of those. So this is the start of our L. Then my next line is going to come out of the middle of this top section here. And this is going to be the start of our S. And then it's going to go up, and it's going to go a little higher than this line. So it's going to be kind of about here. Okay, so almost twice as high. And then I'm going to be drawing a line that goes at an angle, and it's helpful when you're doing these angles to draw a dot where you're going to. So I'm going to pretend this goes straight up, and then I'm going to come over just a little bit. It's not quite straight up from there. It's over just a little bit. And I'm going to draw a dot so I know where I'm going. And then I'm going to draw that angled line there. Then I'm going to be going over here, and our line is going to end. Again, I'm going to draw the dot to help us see where we're headed. So I'm going to go over like I'm going straight across, but I'm going to make a dot just a little bit further than this line is. So about there. And then I'm going to connect the two. And I didn't make it straight across, so that dot is a little off, but I saw where I needed to end, right? And then I'm going to pretend there's an imaginary line from here that goes straight across over here. And see how it comes a little past there, just like this one was a little past. And I'm going to draw another dot, and I'm going to draw that line in. Then I'm going to take that dot, and I'm going to, or that line in that corner, and I'm going to extend down a little bit past this. So it's going to come down here, and I'm going to make a dot to show where I'm going to end, so I know where I'm ending, and I'm going to draw and connect to that dot. Then I'm going to do an angled line in just like this one. So to help guide me where I'm going to go, I'm going to make an imaginary line and put a dot down here so I know the angle, and then I'm going to connect it. And then this line's going to come straight across and touch the L. So far it's looking very similar to our other SL that we've done. It's not really until you get to the coloring part that it changes much, but it is a little different. So we're going to come across here, imaginary line, and we're going to make this line come out just a little, and it lines up with the edge of this, so it should come out as far as this edge is. And then we're going to have an angled line that comes out here, and so it's going to be kind of towards the bottom of this, just a little above the corner, just barely, and it's going to angle down. So I'm going to do the dots again to kind of help me as a guide. So it's going to angle down, and it's going to stop about even with this line. So I'm going to draw a dot and then draw that angle. Okay, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to do this line that comes straight down. And when I do this, it's going to be about the same as this length. So I'm going to kind of mark this with my fingers, check down here, and then draw that length. So I made my L a little long. I'll have to erase that when I go to draw across, but I'll hold off till I'm ready to draw across so I know exactly where I want to erase it to. And then I'm going to draw a line that comes down here, and again I'm going to draw that guide dot for where I want to end, because I want it to end a little lower than this. So I'm going to go down, and I have a guide dot about there, so it's at a little angle there, and then I'm going to draw the line to connect to the dot. Next, I'm going to draw this line that goes across. Like I said, I made my L a little long, so that's okay. I'll just go in and erase it. I can make changes right? I'm the artist that can make any changes I need to. So I'm gonna make it go across and it's gonna line up about with this. It's okay if it's a little further, but it'll be about that. So imaginary line, and I'm gonna make a dot about here so I know where to end this line. So I'm gonna do my line straight across to there, and then I'm gonna erase this part where I went a little too far with my L. You might have gone too far, you might have gone just right, or you might need to connect it if you didn't go far enough. So kind of look at your artwork and figure that out for yourself, right? Okay, so then I'm going to make a little line up. It's not gonna go all the way to touch, it's just gonna go a short line up like that. And then a line over, and it's gonna stop if this imaginary line went down. So imagine this line goes all the way down, and I'm gonna make a dot, and then I'm gonna draw my imaginary line across. And so then I'm gonna draw a line that goes down, and it's gonna line up with this one this time. So imaginary line, oops, I drew an actual line. Imaginary line across, and make a dot where I'm gonna end so I know where I'm stopping, and then a straight line down. Then I need to make the angled lines that go in here. So those angled lines are gonna end just a little before here. So I'm gonna imaginary line down and then over just a touch and make a dot so I know where I'm going. And then I'm gonna draw that line in. And then I'm gonna do the same thing here, and this angled line's gonna line up pretty much with this one. So I'm gonna do an imaginary line, make a dot so I know where I'm ending, and draw that line in. And then I'm gonna connect those straight across. And it looks like I need to adjust it here a little bit. My angled line is a little off. So I'm going to make those adjustments. Remember, while you're doing this, you have that artist eye. You can look, make changes, make adjustments. If you notice something's not quite right, make a change, right? All right, so I've got the S done. Now I'm gonna finish up the L. And we're gonna make an imaginary line through here and just a tiny little line down. Same thing, imaginary line and tiny little line down. Then my next line is gonna come out of this one, and we're gonna go over just a little past the end. So again, I'll make a dot for a guide, over a little past the end. And then I'm gonna do a little line up just to touch there. And then my next line is gonna come out here, and it's gonna go a little past this line. So I'm gonna draw the dot to show me where I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna do a little line out about where I think it should go and make a dot. And then I'm gonna draw that line in. Then I'm gonna come over to this side again, and I'm gonna make a little line over, and it's gonna end just a little before this one. So it's just gonna come over a little bit. Again, I can make a little guide dot to show me where I'm going, and then draw that little line over. Next, I'm gonna make my line that comes down, and it's gonna go down the same amount on both sides. So again, I'm gonna kind of eyeball, make a little dot where I think it is. I can kind of use this top one as a guide for where this is. I'm gonna kind of go down here. So I'm gonna make it a little taller, and then I'm gonna draw a line straight down. And then this one's gonna end at about the same spot over here. So I'm gonna draw a little guide dot, draw it straight down. And then I need to connect them. So I have my outline drawn. Now comes the part where we are going to add the color, okay? So you're gonna wanna pay attention to the difference between areas where I'm making skinny lines and I'm making thicker lines, right? So this outline is gonna be kind of our white edges. So I'm gonna start by doing a skinny outline on these lines only. So first I'm gonna do a skinny outline. So I'm using just the point to make a skinny outline. So a point here, and I'm tracing over the top half of my L, just the top half. I'm going over that with a skinny line. So that's gonna be a skinny outline. And then I'm going to do a skinny outline across here, and a skinny outline across here, And then that is all of the skinny outlines that I need to do with the black. Okay, so I did the top half of the L, I did this line for the S and this line for the S. The rest of it, we're gonna do a thicker outline, but I'm gonna stay on the outside edge of this line that I drew with pencil. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just go around, and I'm gonna do a line like that all the way around the outside edge of my S until I meet back up with the L. So I did that skinny outline. Now I'm gonna go back and make it thicker. So I'm gonna just go back around like a second time, widening that line. So I'm doing the same outside line. I'm just going carefully and making it a little bit wider. I'm trying to kind of make it the same width all the way around. If it's a little off, again, we're just practicing, we're doing our best. If we need to make adjustments, we can. Like mine's going a little wonky there, so I'm gonna kind of make adjustments as I make that thicker line. And I'm gonna thicken up all the way around the outside. But again, I'm using that pencil line and I'm doing the thick line on the outside of the pencil line. It's important you go slow and careful if you want your lines to be straight and even and look like the logo, right? So I did the thicker line around the outside there. And then I'm gonna do the same thing around this outside line. So I'm gonna go around the outside edge here, and I'm gonna thicken it up. Now when I get to this point here, I'm not gonna make a huge thick line here because it'll cover up part of my L. So I'm gonna make the thick line until I get to that line for the L, and then I'm going to stop. So it looks a little different there, but it will look right in the end, because the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go in here and trace this inside edge again with the black. So I kind of filled in that inside space, right? Then this little rectangle here is gonna be filled in with black as well. So inside this little rectangle, I'm gonna fill that all in with black. So you can see it's starting to come together a little bit. Over here, I'm gonna add the thicker line for my L here. And then the thicker line here. And you're gonna notice that when I do this thicker line, it's actually gonna just fill in this whole area with black. So I'm gonna color that in there. And then I'm gonna do the thicker line around. I'm gonna turn my paper a little so I can get the right angle. So I'm gonna trace the top of this and I'm gonna make that a thicker line. So you'll see it'll actually come out and make this line a little bigger here. And it's gonna come out to about the same width as you have up here. And then you're gonna make that thick line down the side. And then I'm gonna take it and again, keep that thickness and make a thick line right along the back here. And then I'm gonna fill in this space with black right here. And then continue my thick line down till I get to that pencil line. And then I'm gonna go across the bottom with a thick line so I can draw along the edge of my pencil line and then thicken it up there. And then make that thicker line up. And then connect it here. And this actually, the thickness of this line actually comes all the way and connects about like this. Okay, so you can see I have the thick black outline and then I have the skinny black outlines on the inside, right? So now the next part that we're gonna do is add the red. But when we add the red, we want to leave a thin outline of white everywhere we go. So you're gonna take and you're gonna start with your red and go really slowly and make an outline, and see how I'm leaving a gap between the red and the black? So I leave a little outline. And then I turn and I leave a little outline. And it's gonna be tricky. You're gonna have to make sure you really leave that space. I almost didn't leave a space there, right? So really take your time, leave that outline, turn your paper as you need to. Leave that outline along the outside. Don't go all the way to the edge because you need to get an outline on this side as well, right? So notice I'm turning the paper as I need to help me keep that gap all the way around like that. And then I'm gonna fill in the red on the inside. So just keep that white outline, fill in the red. Okay. Then I'm gonna, oh, I noticed this one's a little thicker than the other one, so I'm gonna touch that up a little bit. Okay, then I'm gonna do the same thing in the bottom for the L. So I'm gonna leave a little white outline all the way around the whole edge. So again, turn your paper as you need to. Leave that outline for the guideline all the way around, so you have that white outline all the way around as best you can. Again, if you make a mistake, that's okay. We all make mistakes. Embrace it. It'll be okay. So here we go. Did the outline with a little bit of white there, and now I'm going to carefully color inside there with red. And there I have the L colored in. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the S. So I'm going to go around the edges, and again I'm going to leave that white outline, so take your time, go nice and slow, turn your paper as you need to. I'm going to actually turn mine all the way upside down so I can get along these edges and I can still see what I'm doing. Oh, I almost got it filled in there, so I got to be real careful. Leave a gap all the way along the edge. Along the edge. Leaving that space all the way. And then I'm gonna, this one can go right in and touch that black line. And then I said leave the white all the way around, but I actually realized, so there is not a white outline on this inside edge here. So for this part, I'm actually gonna make this connect right there. And then I'm gonna color all of this in red. So leaving that white outline on the outside edge. And then I can color all of this. So there's not a white outline where the S meets the L here. So I'm gonna leave that red and leave the outline, the white outline around the outside edge of the S. So wherever it's not touching the L. So see that white outline around the outside, this inside where it's touching the L, I can color that in. So then we're gonna do the same thing down here. This white outline continues out here and across, and it comes down here. And again, I'm turning my paper so I can see the line easier and make those straight lines because it's close to those edges, right? Nice and slow, taking my time, drawing those white outlines. Nice and careful, turning my paper as I need to, going slowly all the way around this bottom part of the S until it touches the L up here, like that. And then this part right here is going to be red. So then I'm going to color that in. Coloring in the red S. And then I have the fancy SL logo, the Spring Lake logo, with the black outline, the white outline, and the red. Nice job. But remember, if you mess up, it's okay. You can try again, you can make changes, you can adjust it a little bit, right? Great job, Spring Lake artists.